Hello my dear students, I am going to start the remaining part of the lectures of Constitutional Development of India. As you know, already I have taught you the three part of this chapter: Regulating Act, the Act of Settlement, and Pitt's India Act. Actually, this chapter is a very big chapter. All the important points of our constitutions are visible beginning in this chapter, from the beginning of this chapter. That's why it is very long chapter, but every act of this chapter give you a origin of the Indian Constitution, and I have told it many times. Now I am going to complete the remaining part of this chapter. I will start from the Act of 1786. Before study this act, you should see my all lecture that I have given you in previous pattern, in previous lecture, the known as Regulating Act and Act of Settlement and Pitt's India Act. As you know very well, all these chapters have a depth, and without realizing the importance of this chapter, you cannot come on the conclusion about the Indian Constitution. So that's why it is necessary to pay attention towards the each and every detail of these chapters. Okay, so in this act I will describe you the British rule, which is and the some part of this rule are also applicable even today. So we are going to describe the remaining part of this lecture. I hope you will enjoy this lecture. Okay, so I warn you that you should see the previous lecture that I have given you, that I had given in yesterday or before the day. Okay. The first I will start from the Act of Settlement. Okay. After the Pitt's India Act, we find another important act known as Act of Settlement. Actually, this act has also important like other acts. You will find that in every act, the power of the Governor General is being increased. That's why the every act is important. The sum and substance of this act is that this act has also increased the power of Governor General. So how the power of Governor General was increased? If you will study the point of this act, you will realize that how the power of the Governor General has increased. So we will discuss the point of this act. I think it start from this point. The point has gone now. I will describe you one by one. Okay, actually slide has been disturbed, that's why I will explain you through writing. Okay, just I will try to find out the proper slide. If I get the slide, I will explain you easily. If I don't get slide, it doesn't matter. (1773). This is the main point of this act. This is the point of 1781 Act. Okay, sorry, 1786 Act. Now, after reading 1781 Act, we will study about the 1786 Act. What was the main point of this act? This act gave more power to Governor General. I have already told you this act gave more power to Governor General. And what kind of power was given? The main power was that Governor General was given power to override the decision given by his Executive Council. As you know already, in 1773 Act, the Governor General was bound to take advice all the decision. The Governor General was bound to take decision on the advice of his Executive Council. First, pay attention towards the basic thing. Executive Council. What was Executive Council? Actually, you know, in 1773, the Governor General was appointed in Bengal, and there was an executive council under the Governor General to advise him, you know very well. And the Governor General was bound to take decision on the advice of this executive council. It means the post of Governor General was created in 1773, but Governor General was bound to take advice on the decision given, or the Governor General was bound to take decision on the advice given by the Executive Council. Indeed, the post of Governor General was important, but somehow or the other, he was bound to take decision on the advice of his Executive Council. But in this act, we find that in 1786 Act, Governor General was given power, veto power. It means now in 1786 Act, Governor General was given veto power. It means Governor General was given power to override the council decision. It means he is free from all kind of burden. Now Governor General is free to take decision, and in important matter, wherever he thinks it is necessary, he can override the suggestion given by Executive Council. This is the main point of 1786 Act. It means Governor General was free to take decision without the compulsion, without the burden, or without the compulsion of Executive Council. So it is necessary to point the one thing. And another point was that the Governor General was given power the Commander of Chief also. It means Governor General was also given the power of Commander in Chief. Before 1786, there was another post of Governor General another post was known as Commander in Chief, and this Commander in Chief was handling the army. But now the power of Commander in Chief was also given to Governor General. So in all these lecture, you can say the sum and substance of this lecture is that, or in other words, you can say the conclusion of this act is that the Governor General got two important powers, which show the supremacy of Governor General in India. The first was that the Governor General was given veto power, and the second was that the Governor General was given the power of Commander in Chief also. You will have to keep in mind only two things, okay? After that, we find another important act known as the Act of 1793. This is another important act. There are only 2 points important in 1786 Act, okay? And now we will talk about the Act of 1793. What was the Act of 1793? In this act renewed the British East India trading right in India for other 20 years. You know very well that when East India Company came in India, it came with the monopoly of 15 years. You know very well. When the East India Company came in India, it came with the monopoly of 15 years. But these monopoly were being extended time to time. And in 1793, this act again renewed this monopoly, and the company was given trading right for 20 years. It means the monopoly of the company has been extended up to 20 years. And this is the prominent and important point of 1793 Act. Okay, now the salaries of the Board of Control and its staff were to be charged to the company. In fact, they had extended the monopoly power of the company for 20 years, but they have given another burden to the company. It means the British government has also increased the monopoly power of the company for 20 years, but the British government had given another burden to the company. It was that the salary of the Board of Control and its member would be charged on the company. It means now the salary of the board of member board of control would be given from the company's revenue. It means the burden of the salary of the board of control would be taken by the company. From here we see the India money was going to be used as a salary for the company, for the East India Company's member. Keep in mind, this is the origin which shows us how the British government were going to use the Indian money to fulfill the requirements of British officers. This point has been clearly described by the Dada Bhai Nauroji in his principle, The Theory of the Drain of Wealth. Dada Bhai Nauroji in his theory Drain of the Wealth has well described how the Indian wealth were being used to fulfill the luxurious life of British officers. This is the starting point. From here we see the Indian money were being used to fulfill the luxurious facility of the British officers, because now the company, whatever company will earn from India, it will give a salary from India to the board of control members. So you have realized very well the importance of these two acts, 1786 Act and 1793 Act. These acts are not very tough act. The provision of this act are not very tough. You can understand it very easily. I will describe you in a few points. First was that in 1781 Act, I am again going to repeat before you. In 1781 Act, the company's Governor General, it means the Governor General of Bengal, was given more power. It means that he has been given veto power, and he was free to take decision overriding the decision given by the Executive Council. It means he was free to take decision, but not in every matter, in some matter. The second point was that the Governor General was given the power of Commander in Chief. It is the main point of 1786 Act. And 1793 Act, the company's monopoly had been extended up to 20 years, and the salary of the board of control were to be charged to the company. I have explained you clearly all these two acts. Before knowing this act, it is necessary for you to know the detail of Regulating Act, detail of Pitt's India Act, detail of Settlement Act. After study those acts, then you should read this act, and you should try to make a connection among these acts. In these acts, in successive act, you will find that the power of the Governor General will increase, and British government will try to handle the India by giving more power to Governor General. Now I will also mention some important effect of the Act of 1786. What was the effect? The Act of 1786 have some historical effect also. The Act of 1786 have some historical value. What historical value? Because Lord Cornwallis was the first Governor General who came in India as the power of Commander in Chief. Lord Cornwallis. Pay attention here. I am going to describe you the historical aspect of the Act of 1786. Lord Cornwallis was the first Governor General who was given the power of both Governor General and Commander in Chief. He came in India with the power of the Governor General, Commander in Chief, and he fully utilized the Act of 1786. He fully utilized the Act of 1786, and through the 1786 he showed his power and intelligence, because after this act he forced Tipu Sultan to surrender and sign a Treaty of Srirangapatnam that was signed in 1792. And through this treaty, he forced Tipu Sultan to surrender. So this act, it means Lord Cornwallis has utilized the power of this act. And he forced Tipu Sultan to surrender in 1792. It means this act became a beneficial tool for the Lord Cornwallis. And behind this act, there is a famous reason is that this act was made on the advice of Lord Cornwallis also, because Lord Cornwallis was a very dynamic and intelligent officer who came in India with some independent power, and he used it and he showed his intelligence and power by surrendering the Tipu Sultan. Okay, so I have explained it very well, and in another topic we will study about the other acts concerned with this constitutional development of India. This chapter will remain continue. Okay, so you should try to read, you should try to study all these point of the lecture, and after studying my lecture you should try to make a connection among these acts. Okay, I hope this act will be beneficial for you. Now in next chapter, in next lecture, I will describe the another act concerned with this topic. Thank you very much.